Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Stevie. And
Hi.
Steve, welcome back.
Thank you.
Gone last week. You've actually haven't seen you in a month,
I know.
which nobody else would know that because you were on for 3 weeks before when you weren't actually here. But
We pre-recorded.
yeah, it's only lying to people. It's okay.
Well, I have to say, I loved last week's episode. Shout out to Nick, Brock, and Tyler. It's the first episode I've listened to.
which is also just hilarious.
It was good. They made me laugh, and I mean, I know them, so it's different than most of our audience, but I really enjoyed it, and I think they should be reoccurring guests.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought they did pretty well. Nick and Ty were definitely nervous, and I'm sure that came across some, but it was pretty comical because they were pretty nervous. But
I just can't help but think when I hear Nick's voice, especially without seeing him, that it sounds so much like the normal SpongeBob when he's like, "Hi, how are ya?"
yeah, that's been an ongoing joke between all of us for a while. So, this week we've actually we're gonna start off. We actually got Steve to go on a ghost hunt last night. Yes. What are you holding your finger up for?
I would just like to say, up until we were in the car driving to this ghost hunt, I thought it was like a ghost. I thought it was a tour with just like
Ghost
some
stories?
history facts.
No,
Yeah, maybe
yeah.
a little spooky like stories, but it was much different than what I expected. It was still fun, but it was not. I didn't think it was going to be what it was.
We were talking in the car as we're sitting outside of the Missouri State Penitentiary in Jeff City, and I mentioned ghost hunt, and Steve looks at me and like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, this is a ghost hunt. We talked about this.
We spent maybe 45 minutes with our group. This is a 3-hour hunt, sorry. And so you spend like 45 minutes getting told some stories, getting the tour, and then they're like, okay, go do whatever you want. Lights are off. All we have are little tiny flashlights.
And this was from 11 at night to 2 in the morning.
To 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's pretty early. It's 9:30, so I didn't get to bed till like 4, and then Steve texted me and was like, "We gonna do this?" But you know, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Steve was tired for about half of it, but it was a lot of fun. We didn't see anything. It was
No.
It's very very eerie, very creepy being in an abandoned prison at in the middle of the night. It was a full moon, which was also fun. And it was there was a couple things that happened, but nothing crazy. Like there was a couple scare things that kind of freaked us out,
Some
but creeped us
interesting
out.
stuff. Also, keep in mind there was like 3 different buildings we could go in, and these are pretty big buildings. And there was like 15 people in our group, so like we're all just running amok. There was a point where it was just like us 3 in one huge building,
in one of the building,
prison building by ourselves, like no lights on, very scary. But yeah, nothing happened that made me scared. It was like you go to a haunted house and you just know you're gonna get scared, and you're kind of like on edge. That's how it felt for me the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit different than a haunted house though, because at a haunted house you're going there knowing, like, I mean, we're going there knowing we're gonna get scared too, but you're going there expecting like things to jump out at you and grab you and things. Whereas when you go on a ghost hunt, you're not necessarily expecting that.
Yeah.
You're more just it's a lot of other feelings than just because I don't ever feel creeped out usually if I've ever gone to a haunted house.
Oh, well then. That's where I can't relate to you.
I mean, it's a different feeling. Like you can get scared in a haunted house. I'm not a big haunted house person because I think anybody can scare you with a jump scare. And that's what haunted houses are, but it's a different feeling than just being like spooked, because the like actual haunted places give you like an eerie kind of just a.
It's more of an energy
Yeah.
and a feeling that you get than like seeing something. But I think I just was, not that I was expecting to see something, but I was like, what if something just pops out over there? And then I'd scare myself and then I'd, like close my eyes.
Well, they take you around, like she said, they turn off all the lights, which in this place, it used to be called the bloodiest 47 acres, for a reason. There was tens of thousands of inmates, more than 2,000 people believed to have died. And it's you know it's a crazy, it was a crazy place, that opened in the 1800s and just closed less than 20 years ago. So,
And I would say, I mean, yes, there was like the guards versus the inmates, but other than that, it was pretty lawless. Like they weren't
oh yeah, it was
following any
inmates
rules.
versus inmates a lot too.
Yeah.
And you know, like our tour guide said, that the first almost 100 years of it being open, the feds weren't even involved, so there was absolutely no regulations, and whatever the guards wanted to do or whatever they decided your punishment was going to be that day, that's what it was.
That's crazy to me. I wouldn't make it in there. Wouldn't do too well. No.
I don't think most of us would make it. Well, obviously a lot of those people didn't make it in there either. So, but we had fun. I was excited that Steve agreed to go. Apparently, she didn't realize that it was a ghost hunt, or she may not have.
It
but
was like a little like history lesson, and maybe they try to spook you a little. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were just gonna be let loose.
in a place with no lights on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was cool, I guess. It felt.
What did you think?
say that.
What did you think was the creepiest place in there?
Honestly, if the lights would have been on, which obviously that changes a lot of things,
Yeah.
but if everything was, if we like just went during the day, everything else was like equal, the gas chamber I think is the weirdest,
The
and
creepiest. That makes sense.
'Cause
I
the
mean,
lights
that's
were on.
that's kind of the creepiest place anyway. It's just
Weird, but it's the thought that okay, those chairs are the chairs. They
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
haven't replaced them. Those are the chairs people were,
Yep, 40 people
Killed
were
in.
killed in. Yep,
and
executed in.
the room with like bleachers in it for people to just sit and watch. That's sickening to me.
They still do that today, though.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's bleachers, but they still have viewing for most executions. That's one of the ways that they confirm like the people have been executed.
Well, the workers can't.
No,
Be
they
the
want
ones?
they want outsiders and things like that to be involved, but yeah,
That's screwed
it's
up.
so I mean, that is one of the, it's also a really small building. Like it's a
Yeah.
tiny little building.
But it feels like you would like you walk in there and there's just something about it that's very it's like something you'd see in a horror movie. Like just the paint on the wall, it's too bright. It's everything is weird.
Yeah.
And it's just it feels legit because it is.
It actually is, yeah.
Yeah, so that I didn't like. The death row cells, that was pretty creepy because Nikki was like, "Look at the doorway. Are you looking at the
Yeah.
doorway?" And I said, "Yeah," but I was lying.
Yeah,
I was
I
like
know.
closing my eyes. And just because there was like, I guess there was rumors that there was a shadowy figure in that
So there's
area.
there's
I'd
been
heard
a
few
figure
times.
that has been photographed and videotaped in that area several times. Like unknown. They even have shirts of him.
Yeah.
In the gift shop
was on
there.
some shirts.
But yeah, he's one of the better known figures there. They call him
Peeker?
peekers. Yeah,
Peeker.
peekers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just was like, it's so dark, you don't see much anyway. So the fact that I could see like a little light, the doorway, and then the
Yeah,
second,
you can see light at the end of it because it's not completely dark
exactly,
down there. Yeah.
and the second anything else would happen, like if I was just psyching myself out. I think.
Well,
I
it
was
kind
like,
of-
Did
I
see
mean-
it? Did I see a shadow? I don't know. Maybe.
We were looking down that, it's just a long hallway,
Yeah.
and it kind of messes with your eyes. Like it's dark except for that one light at the end, and anywhere you're at in there, it kind of messes with your eyes and it kind of messes with your head when you think about where you're at and what you're doing, and it's also like you said, that's death row. That's where some of the most hardened people were.
Yeah, and I think Nikki, our friend, you guys have heard her on the pod before. This is like up her alley. She has some like, voice recorders for this type of stuff. She has like a thing called a spirit box, and I was like very trusting in her in this process. And she said when she was in like the death row area, she felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, we actually left after
we
just a
had to
few
leave,
minutes,
so
and because
that
we
was
just
like
yeah.
I was
And
pretty
then
spooked
and
just
then there's
by
another
her.
section under death row that we didn't even go
Oh, no,
to
no, no.
besides with the tour guide that
Yeah.
that used to be basically like what the people that you would now put in an institution for mental health issues would have been thrown into those cells, and that's just, and they told us that there's several stories about them just basically messing with your head. Like if you go down there and are down there for long enough, like they'll whisper to you, and they can sound like your best friend or your sister, or just, and it's just kind of eerie.
No, thank you.
I think one of the creepiest and worst, like that's a bad place.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. But I still think one of the worst is the hole.
Well,
The
that
hole
was
is
the creepiest story for sure.
like the fact that they didn't even have, like, it's where now or at the end of it was a shower set in one of the oldest buildings on the property.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, it was isolation.
Right.
It wasn't isolation because you were in there with like 12 other people, but
Yeah.
there was no light. They used to whip people. They didn't have stairs to get down there. They lowered you down there in a basket and then tied you to a post to whip you. And then they threw you in a cell that was pitch black and fed you once a day. And some people that came out of there came out blind because there's absolutely no light. And they turned off the lights for you to see for a couple minutes. And you can't see your hand 5 inches in front of your face.
There's no like adjusting. Like your eyes might adjust to the darkness, but you're not gonna see anything.
Yeah. If you've ever been in a cave and they've turned out the lights while you were in the cave, that's what it's like. It's just absolute and total darkness because there's no window. You were, what were we? Probably 20 feet down. Like those stairs were pretty high, and we were just completely underground.
Yeah.
So.
And the door.
And the doors have a wooden or metal panel on the outside of the bars, so that even less light any light would not get in. So even if a guard came down with a light to give you food, you didn't see the light very much. So
right.
And
she told us a story about one guy that was in there for like 6 or 8 years, and he came out and he was blind and he just like couldn't. It was like sensory overload.
Yeah, he died within like a couple weeks.
He literally lost his mind and died. And she said there would be like bodies would die either from murder from the other people down there or
banging their head against the
just
wall,
literally committing suicide.
Commit suicide. Yeah.
And they wouldn't take the bodies out. So it was just people, dead bodies. They were going to the bathroom in these rooms. They were eating in these, like they just were living in these little holes with dead bodies and everything that comes out of a living body as well.
Yeah.
Gross. I have no words.
It's insane just
people did that.
How it was treated.
Yeah.
And the cells too, the old ones you saw and I had seen these before, but you saw them. They're shorter than you are. The door is shorter than you are, to make sure that when you would come out, you were in a submissive position so that your head was down and you didn't talk to any guards or talk to anybody else or anything else. And yeah, it's just, it's awful. It would have been terrible to live in a place like that.
I would simply not have lived there.
I understand that.
If I was for some reason put in a prison like that in the 1800s, I would. This is a little deep for our podcast, but I would do something to
get out.
Yeah.
Or end it.
I would die.
Yeah. Okay, so
on a lighter note.
On to a lighter note, Steve, how was the last month? I haven't seen you. What have you been up to? What did you do? What did you do? I know you went to Maine, but
yeah, you saw me before St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first weekend. We had some fun. We went and stayed with my boyfriend's parents, and so something new is happening in my life, and I think you'll be surprised. I think I am getting into soups. And I
love soups.
I have always been so anti-soup.
Yes, you have.
Like chili, stew, anything of that sort. I just think imagine people slurping it, and I just get really grossed out.
But you don't have to slurp it.
I know. But I didn't.
So good though.
I just, from what I've seen in my life, it just never seemed appetizing. I was like, I don't want to don't want like a bowl of liquid and then some food in the liquid. It just didn't sound good to me. But shout out to my boyfriend's mom, Suzanne. She likes French onion soup,
which is wonderful.
and I saw her get it a few times, and I tried a couple times, and now I can't get it out of my head, and it's actually ruining my life because all I do is think about French onion soup, and I have to have it. And I had it that weekend we went there. Was it we've been there so many times because we went there for St. Patrick's Day, and then we stayed there the weekend before we went to Maine because we flew out, and then we stayed there the weekend after we got back as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like getting the trips mixed up, but I had French onion soup at a restaurant that we went to, and like I said, I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and so I got it the other day, and yeah, it's so good. I could eat unlimited French onion soup. So I think I'm gonna start getting into soups a little more. I'm gonna forgive them.
Forgive them.
We're gonna make up.
When she got the soup, did you know it was soup? Because it doesn't look necessarily like soup when it comes out.
I heard her order it, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, it just looks like cheese. And I was like, that looks really good.
It is really good.
And
obviously, you know this now.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get you to eat soup for how long?
Probably since you've known me. But I don't know. No one got me to do it until I saw that French onion soup.
Okay. I mean, French onion's a good soup, so. What's the next one you're going to try? We're going to branch out? Where are we going now?
I was looking at soups the other day in Schnucks, which is crazy. I've never looked at a soup
Probably just didn't even go down that aisle before.
In my life. And they have so many options.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of options.
Also, I will say, French onion soup is definitely a soup you save for, like, getting at restaurants. I'm sure I could make it and it would, if you figured
out a good recipe and made it from scratch, it'd probably be
here's
okay.
A couple problems I have with that. The cheese is gonna be a mess, and I don't want to deal with that.
A lot of cooking is a mess. Half of cooking is making a mess.
Melted cheese covering your bowl or your spoon, like that's hard to get off versus just like most things I cook.
Yeah, I get that. It depends on how long it's on there, but yeah, I get that.
And the way I like it, I want my bowl to practically I want it to look like it's made out of cheese.
Yeah.
Like when I go to a restaurant and I get French onion soup, there's cheese all around that bowl.
Yeah, that's what it's
And I don't want to deal with that at my home. So I probably won't make it properly. But I got like a can of it, and it's not the same. Of course it's not the same,
So, wait, you got a can of it. Did it...
This is actually quite gross.
How... It obviously doesn't come with the cheese then. Like, what do you...
It's the onions, and then it's the broth.
Okay. So it's...
And so I was...
It's not really the same thing almost. Because usually French onion soup also has like a bread in it and everything else.
So I cut up some bread, and I got like a baguette, and I cut it up. Okay. And I toasted it, and I put it in the soup, and and I try to put some cheese on top. But of course, like I don't know what I'm doing. The cheese all went to the bottom, and like it wasn't right. So I didn't really like it. So I probably won't be making it at home.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I don't blame you for that.
Yeah. But back to soup aisle at Schnucks, there was. I kind of want to try I really like seafood, so maybe like a lobster bisque or I don't know, clam chowder's always sounded icky, but I think I would give it a shot. I think I would actually like the taste of it.
If you like seafood, that's possible. I'm not a big clam chowder person.
Yeah.
I'm not a big chowder person in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm very much go-to is either I like a good tomato soup. I like a good French onion soup is good too, and I love broccoli cheddar soup.
Oh, I think I will try broccoli cheddar. Because that's probably
really
just, once again, a lot of cheese, and I like cheese.
It's 95% cheese.
So maybe that would be next.
I tried to get Nick to try broccoli cheddar soup once, and it had broccoli in it, so he wouldn't do that. And I'm like, dude, you like cheese, though.
Okay, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that Nick doesn't want to try something.
No, we discussed that last week.
He doesn't want to try anything unless it's chicken nuggets or literal mac and cheese. Yeah. That boy.
I don't.
Shout out to Nick.
It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, I do broccoli cheddar soup in a bread bowl. Like any soup in a bread bowl makes it
Sure.
better.
Yeah, I think that's a good place for me to start. I think
Start with
get
it
at
in the bread
Panera
bowl.
With the bread bowl, so it's
Yes.
like at least if it's too much liquidy, I've got the bread to
You can-
kind
yeah,
of balance everything out.
And whenever you're done, you get to eat the bowl, and it's just been
trust
soaking
me.
into the bowl. It's so good.
I haven't gotten it in so long just because the carbs are insane. But I used to get their Panera mac and cheese in the bread bowl. And same thing.
I don't think I've ever done
Once
that.
you're done, you just scoop out that bread from the inside.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that. So think of it just like
It would basically be the same thing, but
almost. It's
more
just going to
liquid.
soak into the bread even more because
Right.
it's more liquid. But
Right.
oh, it's so good.
So yeah, I think that might be. I know when I was younger, when I was really anti-soup, when I was
The way you say that is hilarious, by the way. Just
when I was
when I was
part of the
anti-soup, when I was part of the
anti-soup
anti-soup
movement.
movement, yes.
I remember I was at like a friend's house and we had baked potato soup, and I just felt
Oh,
like
that's another good
I
one.
felt like I had to eat it because I was at someone's house, and I was like, I have to at least try it. And honestly, I think I would like it. That wasn't bad, and I remember because it had they did all the green onions and the bacon,
Yeah, and cheese and everything else. Yeah.
So that, I think I could do that again. It's probably closer to something I'd enjoy more than chicken noodles. Something about chicken noodle soup I just don't think I'm ever gonna like. I don't want cubes of chicken in a broth.
Well, it depends on where you get it. I mean, if you get fresh from someplace, it's not going to be cubes of chicken. It's going to be shredded pieces of chicken. It's going to be if you when you go to a place and they shred the chicken, it's going to be more like that than it is cubes of chicken.
I don't know how to explain.
You're not getting it in a if you get it in a can, yeah, it's going to be cubes, but
some people like that. Some people want their Campbell's chicken noodle soup when they're sick, and I just don't think I'm ever gonna be that person.
I can understand that. I mean, I'm not super picky, so I can eat Campbell's or I can eat something at a restaurant. It doesn't bother me either way, but
Also, we find out that I'm a raging hypocrite because this time, a month ago, I hated soup. So who knows? Never say
well, no,
never,
you just
I guess.
you just hadn't tried it. Which just I mean, it's just I don't get the not trying it but still hating it, but each to their
I
own.
really do think I have some. I don't know who it was or when it was, but when I was little, someone around me was slurping soup at some point, and it just really turned me off from it for a lot of years.
I mean, I can understand that. That gets very annoying very quick.
Yeah, and I don't we had a lot of the times at school, we'd get tomato soup and a grilled cheese, and obviously at
At
a
school,
middle
it's not
school
gonna be-
in a
yeah.
little styrofoam bowl, tomato soup doesn't look very appetizing. So I was very turned off from that for a long time. But we were talking about it yesterday. I think if I had a really milky, creamy tomato soup, I might like that.
Yeah,
So
because
I might try that.
that's how I make
Might
it is
try that
with
next.
I buy the condensed usually and then just
Yeah.
use milk
Instead of the water?
instead of the water.
So maybe that or a broccoli cheddar are next, but I'll keep you guys updated. That's probably enough about soups.
So what else did you do while you were off or while you've been away?
Oh gosh. So yeah, went to Maine with my family. It was beautiful.
You went skiing. I saw that. How did that go?
Okay, so thank you for asking. It was really fun. A little traumatic, but I'm over it.
Traumatic?
Just a little.
What was traumatic about it?
If anyone hasn't gone skiing before, it's really, really hard on your body. And I was super nervous about falling. It was really annoying every time I fall. One, I would get frustrated with myself just because I was like, why can't I figure this out? And two, getting up is so hard when you're on skis.
That's my washing machine.
Whoa.
It probably needs to be balanced or something. But anyway, continue.
Getting up is really hard when you're on skis. So I hated falling. It was awful. So I just kept tensing up to try to stop myself from falling constantly. So my body was just getting sore from that, let alone this new sport that I've never done before. So we skied for 3.5 hours, then we went and got lunch, and I probably should have said okay guys, I'm good for the day. But I was with two of my cousins and my boyfriend, and they're come up to this hill, and it's there's different colors, which mean the intensity
different levels, yeah.
Yeah. Green is literally the easiest. There was a smiley face on the sign. Little 3-year-old children were skiing
Yeah,
past me like it was
It's like
nothing.
what they call the bunny hill. Yeah,
And
the
I
bunny
literally
hill. Yeah.
couldn't do it. I was so terrified. I kept falling just out of being scared. I was like,
what was it that scared you?
I couldn't see the bottom. It felt so steep from like being at the top. I was like, oh, I'm just going to, if I don't fall, I wasn't very good at stopping. Exactly. Because I didn't really know how to stop yet.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, well, I'm either going to fall or I'm going to hit a human or I'm going to hit a building or a tree or something. And that's going to hurt worse. So I just kept falling if I got too scared. And at one point I fell and like, bonked my head a few times. So I'm like frustrated, I'm tired, and now my head's hurting and I'm like, I'm done. I wanted to just like throw my stuff off and like, but I'm more than halfway up this hill.
Yeah.
It would be like a 20-30 minute walk down. But I just told everyone, I was like, you guys can go. I cannot go down this hill. So I walked down in my snow boots and my feet were hurting so bad. That part was not fun. But once I was over that and once everyone was like, because then the people I was with felt bad and they're like, we don't want to leave you alone. And I was like, no, I'll feel worse if you guys stop skiing because of me. I'm good now. I just need to like get to the bottom and take my skis off and be done. And so they kept going and I just got a hot chocolate and I just sat. And honestly, that was a perfect ending to the day of skiing.
The hot chocolate?
Yeah.
And just sitting?
And just sitting and like not, because it was honestly a really nice day and you kind of work up a sweat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's snow on the ground, but it was like 40 degrees and the sun was shining. So you got all these layers on. So I kind of like took my couple layers off and just was able to like breathe and have some hot chocolate. I got like a little brownie. It was nice. It was a very good time.
That's good.
Yeah. And we had fresh lobster.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Acadia National Park. Oh, I didn't tell you this yesterday. We were talking about Stephen King. I saw Stephen King's house.
Nice.
Yeah, my cousin drove us past it, and it was actually, he has two. I guess he had a house and he bought the one next to it as well.
Okay.
So he has like two, and there's some like creepy decorations outside. It's pretty
that's
cool.
not surprising.
Yeah, it was cool to see.
If you've ever read his books, it's
well, yeah, but it's just like not you. Maybe he doesn't, portray that in his real life. You never know.
Yeah, you got to be a little. I think you got to be a little off to write some of the stuff that he does into books, but but I love Stephen King. Yes, Stephen King is a great author.
That was cool. What else? Oh, and then our last night we went just kind of out in the town in Portland where my other cousin lives. Mm-hmm. And I love Portland. It is the cutest town. Mm-hmm. It's like you get to have a beach town vibe, and then like not very far there's like mountains.
Okay.
So you get like the best of everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
It really was cool. Imagine having like a cool city, and it's a clean, safe city, and then there's just like the beach right there. Like that. Being from Missouri, I just can't imagine that. Just seems like such a luxury to me.
Yeah, I get that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's it doesn't get too hot, so it's not like a humid. It probably does get humid if it's that close to the water, but it's also Maine, so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been there. Well, I did an internship in New England.
Oh yeah,
in college, and there was humid days, but there was also days where it started out like in the 60s, like in the middle of summer, like in June, the low was in the 60s, or it was in the 60s in the morning, or even the 50s. Mm-hmm. So it's, you're a long way. You're a pretty good distance north, but it was nice. There was some humid days, though, for sure.
Yeah. And my cousin that lives in Portland did say, obviously, we're there it was almost April, but so there wasn't much going on. It was pretty cold, and the only people were there were like people that live there all year round. But she said in the summertime that is like, it's insanely busy. It's super popular spot. So I might want to go back then and just see what that's like too. But I kind of enjoyed not having a bunch of people around.
I get that. That's always nicer when you go on a trip and there's not as many people, because when it starts to get too crowded, it's not as much fun. Mm-hmm. But okay, so you went on your trip. You went on a couple trips, but you went to Maine. Yeah, you did something in Kansas City, I think, for like
I had a bachelorette party in Kansas City. And that was fun. Oh, we went to this place. I'll have to show you the picture. We went to this place called Donutology, and we got like a bunch of just like mini donuts from this restaurant. this won't be that exciting for the listener. So we had like maple bacon, and they just decorated them up really nice.
They're just like little mini
Just
donuts.
like little tiny donuts. There was like Fruity Pebble ones,
Yeah, I see that.
s'mores one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you, were those good?
They were so good.
Okay.
That was,
That was
like,
in Kansas City?
Yeah, that was my highlight of the trip. Not that it was bad. That was just like
Just
so
food.
fun. That and the
Yeah.
shopping was so fun.
Yeah. You said you went to the plaza. You've been to the plaza before, hadn't you? You hadn't
I've
been to the
never,
plaza?
I've never really gone to Kansas City other than for dance competitions. And when I'm there for dance competition, I'm
You
either
don't
in
leave
a
the-
hotel
yeah.
or I'm
In the
on
place where
stage
you're
or
doing
getting
it,
ready
yeah.
to go on stage.
Yeah. I like Kansas City.
I would like to go and explore it more.
Yeah. Kansas City's a fun city to go to. I mean, when I was a kid, we always went to St. Louis more.
Yeah, I think same
But
for me.
I've done a lot of the stuff in St. Louis now, so I like going to Kansas City because there's a lot of stuff that I haven't done in Kansas City.
Yeah. We went
yeah.
to I always forget the name of it. It's like Ballpark Village, but in Kansas City.
Oh, Power and Light.
Power and Light. We went to Power and Light District. That was pretty cool. Once again, it was like rainy and kind of chilly. You know, we did go in March, but that is a really cool place. I would like to go again, like on a really
Power
nice
and Light's
day
a lot of fun.
and just hang out there all day. There's so much you could do.
We would always go there. We would always go there before and then have dinner or something before we would go to a concert, since it's right next to the what is now I think it's the
Verizon?
T-Mobile Center or
Oh,
something like
T-Mobile
that.
Center, yeah.
I don't know. It started out as the Sprint Center.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there in a long time. So
AT&T Center.
yeah.
I will say we went. I think it was called like Howl at the Moon was one of the bars we ended up going to and staying at Power and Light, and they had live singers, and they were so good.
Yeah, they've got a jazz club down there. They've got live music in most of those places on the weekends, and they've got a jazz club it's really cool too. Like they've got a ton of great stuff down there for sure.
And they just like they were taking suggestions all night, and they knew the way that they know how to play everything. And there's probably 4 or 5 people in like the group that was there. Knew all the words at some point to every song.
Yep.
And sometimes they did like a couple. They did like "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy, and there's some like rap parts in there that I don't even know what they're saying. And there was a guy that was doing it like he sounded just like him.
Yeah.
I don't understand the work that goes into that. That's
it's cool. Like it's
that.
amazing. You have to be very musically diverse to be able to do those
Yeah.
types of things, especially if you're going to take requests, because you never know what somebody's going to ask.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We requested Crazy Train. I had left by that point, but I saw a video from my friends, so they did play that. So that they would play like Crazy Train, and they'd play like a 90s hip hop song, and then they'd play like Taylor Swift, and then they'd play like, a Shaggy song. It was, everything under the sun. They could just whip it out.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love going to places like that, or like unfortunately in Columbia we don't have a dueling piano bar anymore because it went out of business, but
That's right.
But I do love those types of places. I think they're just fun and usually pretty energetic, and a lot of people get into them. But yeah, I don't know. That's
Anything happen to you while I was gone?
not really. Been working. We had we had fun last week with Nick, Ty, and Brock on.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about that. But other than that, no, I haven't really been doing much. It's been pretty standard time for me. But
Yeah.
I did get us a snack.
A snack?
A snack. And
I love
don't
snacks.
I don't know how thought it is, but so we talked a few weeks ago about Dole Whip coming
to
from
stores.
The Disney staple of Dole Whip coming to stores, and I found it, and
Oh my gosh, it's so
we're
cute.
going to try it.
Do they have little spoons inside of them?
No, I got spoons right
no.
here.
Oh my gosh. It smells good.
Hopefully it tastes good. I don't think it's been sitting out long enough. It says it's supposed to sit out for like 10 minutes
Oh no, I think feel the texture though. I think it's good.
to get like to the right consistency. But I want you to try it and see what you think. Go for it.
Okay. Whoa. Tastes like, sherbet. Like the texture is very sherbety. Flavor's really good. It tastes like,
It tastes like pineapple.
yeah.
Yeah, it tastes. I think it tastes pretty much like Dole Whip in the parks. The only difference is it's not quite as In the parks, it's soft serve, so it comes
Sure.
out of a machine.
Right.
So it's a little softer, but I think if you let it sit out and thaw a little bit more, it'd probably be about the same consistency.
I'm a sucker for anything like this. Any sweet treat.
Yeah, I know you're a big sweets girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, it's not like it's good quality still. It doesn't taste like just like little cheap ice cream that you would buy.
It's not cheap.
Oh, it's not?
No. I think four little of these things was like $7.
And these are literally, we might have to like post a picture on our Instagram
Yeah,
because they're like
Tiny little cups.
maybe
like,
an inch tall.
Yeah, they're
How many ounces?
3.5
Yeah.
ounces. Like they're not. Yeah, they're not.
I could have taken this on the airplane.
Will they let you on the airplane with that? I don't know if they'd let you on the airplane with food.
But because it's 3.6 ounces?
I still don't know if they'd let you on the airplane
Oh.
with food.
Never mind.
Yeah, but
That's really good. Well, thank you.
it is really good. I'm glad we
It's
tried that. I
delish.
tried to find the we talked about the spark or liquored up Sunny D. I tried
I
to find
tried
that,
it.
but I couldn't find it. You tried it?
They had it at the bachelorette party. Someone
Okay.
brought it.
How was it? What'd you think? Because I tried to find it to see if
The-
we could try it, but apparently you already have. So
I won't. That won't be my drink of the summer. By
why
any means.
why not?
It just, I'm kind of over seltzers anyway right now, especially the ones that don't have well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about, but the Sunny D, it just tasted. The initial taste is fine. It tastes like Sunny D, but then the aftertaste comes, the second you swallow it, it just is wildly artificial and just very much like just tastes like aspartame, not in a good way. You know what I
Interest-
mean?
okay.
Just tastes like
That's interesting because normally Sunny D doesn't taste like that. So that's
but because they're doing like no sugar.
oh, is it no sugar?
I think so.
I didn't know it was no
Yeah.
sugar. Okay.
Exactly. So it's like you're just getting teased. You get the taste and you're like, oh, this isn't very sweet. It actually just
Did it taste like liquor? Like, did you taste the liquor in
no,
it?
not really. But
Okay.
it was like 4%.
Yeah, it's
so.
yeah, it's not much.
But no, it I wouldn't get it. It's not worth it to me.
Okay.
Don't buy it.
Okay. Well, disclaimer there, I guess. Steve says that's a no. Steve says that's very much a no. Yeah.
What in
yeah.
the world? I was like, what's he gonna impress over there?
You didn't like that?
I thought it was gonna be like a boo.
No, I don't have
Do
a
we
boo.
have that?
I don't have a boo actually. No. I got a couple horns and things, but not a boo. But yeah, I don't know. Would you the Dole Whip you like now? The question is would you like the mac and cheese ice cream or the what was the other one?
There's a
Hidden
ranch
Valley
one.
Ranch ice cream? Yeah.
I
No.
don't think so. I do love the texture of ice cream, and I like mac and cheese, but
I
I want my mac and cheese to be warm. Like, I think that would be more upsetting and uncomfy than just the fact that it's a ice cream flavor. Like, if I want mac and cheese, I want it to be
we may have
hot
to
and
I'm going to start
like melty.
This is something I'm going to start doing more. We're going to start looking for these things more often to see if we can try. And I'm going to try to find the random ones too.
Oh man,
Cuz the Dole Whip is good.
this is really good.
Like,
Mine's almost gone.
yeah, I'm not surprised. But I mean, the Dole Whip is good, but
And ranch. I don't even
yeah.
like ranch that much.
you don't like
begin
ranch?
with. I used to like when I was younger, but if I'm gonna
I like to use
dip,
it as a
if I'm-
dipping
but
sauce.
if I'm gonna
but
dip, there's like 50 other things I would choose before ranch. Unfortunately,
I think 50 seems like a high number.
do I need to prove it? My go-to.
I think 50 seems like a high number, but
I mean, it obviously depends where I'm going. I'm not gonna do 50, but like I'm a ketchup girly for sure.
yeah, see, ketchup's a little lower on my list, but
I really like ketchup.
Okay.
And then usually I like McDonald's sweet and sour sauce all the way. Love their sweet and sour sauce.
see, I prefer the barbecue at McDonald's.
Barbecue's good too. I'm starting to get more into barbecue sauce. If I'm going to Chick-fil-A, obviously I have to get Chick-fil-A sauce. It's the best sauce ever.
I mean, that makes sense.
And then I might go for a Polynesian before I go for ranch. I might go
Okay.
for a buffalo sauce before I go for ranch.
Okay.
Now, if I'm having like spicy hot wings, I have to have ranch. That is probably the only time I'm definitely getting
Not blue
ranch.
cheese.
No. They're
See,
interchangeable to me.
With wings, I like the blue cheese more than the ranch.
That's good too.
But I just think that you can dip so many. Like, I dip French fries in ranch too. Like, I can dip so many things in ranch. I had ranch dressing on my burger last night. I don't know if you noticed that when
I know.
you know.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, you did eat the onions off my burger, but I didn't know if there was enough ranch on them for you to tell that. But
Or like even, yeah, cheese. I'll dip something in cheese before I dip it in ranch, unless it's a hot wing. Hot wings are the exception. They need to have ranch because I think it balances out the spice.
yeah, it does a good job of cooling off the spice and balancing it for sure. Which is, I mean, I prefer the blue cheese, but ranch will work in that same vein.
And if it already has, and I'll say ranch is good if something already has a really strong flavor. But
Okay.
if it's something like a French fry or chicken nugget that's somewhat bland, yeah, I need like a
You need a flavor.
Polynesian or a Chick-fil-A
Okay.
or cilantro or some lime, something. I don't know why I said that. What am I talking about?
don't
Avocado
know.
ranch. I don't know. Something I could have.
What about a spicy ranch? I do like
That's
a
good
spicy
too.
ranch.
I prefer-
okay.
yeah,
So
mix
it's
up
just
the
not
ranch.
necessarily just, it's not ranch in general. It's just, you don't want just the plain one most of the time. Okay. We still didn't get to 50 though.
I mean, I guess I could.
No, we're
going.
that's gonna be way too boring.
With all
We're not gonna
those
do
like
that.
mayo mixes that are out right now. Have you seen those like by Heinz? They'll do like two different
Yeah.
things in a bottle.
I mean, I will mix mayo and ketchup. My mom taught me how to do that years ago.
Oh yeah, Will
and
does
that's about. And I will put mayo and mustard both on like a
Ooh,
sandwich.
I think mustard, the whole mustard category of mustards is very underrated. I like yellow mustard, I like spicy mustard,
Yeah.
I like brown mustard, honey mustard. Honey mustard.
Honey mustard is.
How
is
did I
the
not
bomb.
think of honey mustard earlier? That and sweet and sour sauce are like my go-to dipping sauces for like fries or chicken or anything like that. Salad
Honey
dressing.
mustard's a good one.
Italian dressing on a salad
That's a good one too.
over ranch for sure to me.
I think it depends on what I'm dipping it though. Like I think that's more
On a
limited.
salad though,
Oh, on a salad, yeah.
I don't want ranch on my salad.
No, on a salad I would agree with that. But if I'm, like, I thought we were still talking about dipping sauces. So
Nah, just.
I mean, I can dip things in Italian dressing too. Put a little Italian dressing in your eggs too. That's pretty good. Like if you're gonna make scrambled eggs.
Yeah, I've done
but,
that with like eggs and avocado before.
Yeah. But that's yeah.
All right.
I think that might be a good place to
Yep,
end it. Did you have anything else you want to talk about this week, Steve, or is that where we're going to end it this week?
I'm good. My Dole Whip's gone.
It didn't last long.
I'm on my soup journey. So
Soup journey. Okay, so are we going to
Probably.
try? Should we make that a goal? Is to try a new one by the end of this week and see what it is like?
No, because if I'm getting soup in the next 2 months, it's gonna be French onion. But
Okay.
after that, we'll talk.
Well, on that note, we will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.